Hi, good evening. My name is Michael Begler with Enterprise Lighting in Wisconsin. I want to thank Randy and his team for putting this together for all of us tonight. Thank you. So Randy first asked me to engage Jeff Bucar, who I'll be nominating here shortly, in a little conversation to ask Jeff, over his 40 years in the industry, what might be his largest challenge? And I thought, I don't know how well you know Jeff, but there's a pretty good chance he's going to get up and say it's me. I first met Jeff circa 2001. He had come to Wisconsin to interview us, and John Mabbitt had set the appointment up. And we hadn't been in the room probably 15 minutes, and Jeff, in his very dramatic way, flops back on the chair, starts looking at the ceiling, turns to Mabbitt and says, "Why am I here?" And I thought, oh boy, I think I just cost Mabbitt his job. But after a few hours back and forth, I realized that sitting in front of me was a very intelligent, very funny, very committed man, and someone with whom I was 30 years old at the time, someone with whom I would be proud to associate my life and career with. And Jeff has not let us down in any way, shape, or form. He's been a great mentor to a lot of the people in this room. I see some heads shaking back there. He's been a good and steady friend to a lot of people. And of course, he's built an incredible career in his own right, as starting in basically human relations and moving his way through sales, through the customer experience, building teams, and along the way building some pretty incredible people. So mostly Jeff, I think, has been, like I say, a mentor to people and reliable. But things that you do in your life delineate who you are along the way. And one of the things, we had an event for Jeff in Chicago a few months ago upon his retirement from Eaton. And the turnout, the care, the love, the people that showed up in that room were phenomenal. And they'd ranged essentially for 40 years. So when you looked around that room and you saw essentially a who's who on that side of the business, you realized that Jeff had done a pretty incredible job of being, I guess, in a fiduciary responsible position to not only the agency base, the distributor base, the manufacturers with whom he's worked, and the people in that room were just a testament to that. And so in that regard, I was speaking with Randy a little bit and decided to nominate Jeff for this Lifetime Achievement Award. So with that, I give you Mr. Jeff Bucar.
Thank you, Michael. Now you can see why I hired him. So, Randy, thank you so much for the honor and putting this evening. Thank you, Donnie, Dallas, and Paul for allowing me to be up here tonight. Thank you, Michael, for your nomination. You know, I started in this business in 1978, and I had the pleasure of working directly at 28 years old for Dan Thompson. And I learned so much working for Dan and then for Fritz and very, very many people at Cooper Lighting. Hi, Lance. Glad you could join us. You know, and so I feel blessed. I had a good base. As Mike said, I started out in labor and industrial relations. Did that for 8 years. Then I went into sales for 5, went into marketing for 9, and product development. Back into sales for another 6 years, and then in customer experience for the remainder of my career, 12 years or so. In 1986, I was an assistant regional sales manager, and I don't know, is Donnie here tonight? Donnie Miller? Because not yet. He's on his way, but I'm going to tell a story on him. So I gave my first sales pitch in front of a bunch of, agents. I was 3 weeks on the job, and I pitched some innocuous product. I think it was a halo lens kit and a stupid beam concentrator. It was about the safest thing that I could pitch. And Donnie comes up to me afterwards. He was the vice president of sales for Medalex. He goes, "Son, you did pretty good." He says, "But I gotta tell you something." He says, "You only need to know a few things when you pitch into a product. 1, you know more than your audience. 2, you only need to know 5 things. And because he was a fluorescent guy, he says, "And 3, don't cut yourself." because I can't tell you how many times I've sat in a presentation with my hand in my pocket, and I wasn't grabbing my billfold. I was, preparing a tourniquet for myself. But in any event, I feel honored to be here tonight. When you talk about, your greatest achievement, as this is an achievement award, I can tell you, it's not the products I developed. It's not the brands I created. It's not the sales goals that we met. It's the people that helped me, that I helped, and the friends, the dear friends that I've made in this industry. So with that, I thank you very much for this evening, and I will yield the floor.